Hi. Hi, Violet. Happy Sunday to you, too. So wonderful to see you. Miss you. And I know you're very busy uh, creating. Hi, Becky. Love your dress. Shift. It came out gorgeous. You're inspiring me. I don't think I could make something that I would have to line, so I might have to buy a different material, but I'm getting ready. I mean, hey, if you can make a rag doll, I think you can make anything, right? I'm thinking maybe. Who knows, right? Um, it's endless. The possibilities are endless. Here's somebody who could barely hem. Oh, I couldn't hem. My mother would get very upset because I would have big stitches, and it was very. Now I can hem and do other things. Hi, Janice. Good afternoon. So lovely to see you. Yeah, you told me. Yeah, you said it was very sheer. Yeah, yeah. And that makes perfect sense. Sure. Hi, Teresa. Good afternoon to you. So lovely to see you. I've got a couple of things. I've got, some wacky, interesting things that's happened this week. It seems that, I don't know, I just sometimes get myself in all sorts of trouble. Uh, so, hi, Sharon. Good afternoon to you. I'm sure pretty much where everybody is, it's just plain old hot. Hot, 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 and humid. The only good thing this past week is we haven't had any severe thunderstorms, which I am so happy for because we've had some real doozies, like mini hurricanes. The good thing about them is they only last about 20 minutes and then they're gone, but they've been nasty. I mean, gusts of winds. I think I was telling the girls on Thursday uh, that during one of the storms, there was a family of sandhill cranes, mom and dad, and two little baby chicks, and they got caught in the middle of the storm. And it looks like the dad came like into the bushes at my next door neighbor's, but the mom laid down underneath a palm tree. And it turned out that both baby chicks were underneath her. Uh, all of a sudden, I saw the baby chick's little head pop up and then went scurried back under the feathers of the mom. And then I thought there was only one chick. And when the storm was finally over, the mom stood up and there were two little baby chicks that were underneath her feathers during the storm. And they were drenched, absolutely drenched. And then they walked right up to my screen and my porch. I mean, nose to nose. It was amazing. I'm sure you'd be thrilled to have some rain. Yeah. Hi, Janet. Good afternoon to you. So lovely to see you. Um, yeah. The rain doesn't seem, at least here, the rain doesn't seem to cool things down much. Just makes everything wet. But hi, Dar. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by this Sunday afternoon. I think I might start reading. I don't think I've read this one. I know I ended up reading the other one a couple of weeks ago that I'd already read. I don't know why I don't write red, but I have been writing red. That's kind of, I've been writing red. Happy Canada Day. Was that yesterday? Is that July 1st? Or is it today? I'm not sure. Hi, Saddlebags. Welcome. I don't think I know you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see a new name in the chat. Hi, Cat. Okay. And tomorrow, well, the 4th is our Independence Day. Hi, Candy. Good to see you. All right. So this one is called Summer Job. And for anybody new, I have started my streams with reading an essay. I guess that's what you'd call them, an essay. All I really need to know, I learned in kindergarten by a gentleman by the name of Robert Fulghum, and he is a minister. And I read this book many, many years ago. And I started reading it because I get really kind of like a little, I know people find this hard to believe, but I get really, really nervous and kind of discombobulated before a live stream. And I found out that reading this kind of calmed me down a little bit. So that's how this all started. And so, I can hear the birds. Merlin, great app. Check it out. I know now by when I hear the bird, it is a northern mockingbird because that's a sound that I hear quite frequently. All right, so the name of this one is Summer Job. Okay. Two desperate young men were at my door one night last week. We're desperate, they said. They didn't look desperate, neat and clean, tennis shoes, jeans, t-shirts, and baseball caps on the right way. We're 15 years old, which is why they were desperate. They needed summer jobs and nobody was hiring unless you were 16. Being 15 isn't good enough, said one. I remember being 15 is being in between a transitional phase. Just how desperate are you? I asked. Really desperate. We'll do anything for money. Wonderful. Actually, I'd been looking for a couple of guys in this condition. See, a neighbor has been needling me about my excessive firewood. He thinks it weighs too much and is maybe bending the timbers of the decking on the dock in front of our houseboats. And since the dock decking is common property, it is his business. Furthermore, he thinks that burning wood in a stove contributes to serious air pollution problems, and I am therefore irresponsible for not heating my house some other way. Right. I agree. That's exactly why I have so much firewood. I don't burn it anymore. But this guy keeps yapping at me, and I'm steamed. Suddenly, I have a genius solution for the firewood fracas. Gentlemen, I said to the young men at my door, I have a job for you. They are excited. You see all this firewood along the dock? Yes. Well, I want you to haul it all up onto the street where you'll find my neighbor's very large four-door green Buick sedan. And I want you to fill that Buick with this firewood. There's not much There's too much to go in the trunk, sir. Exactly. So I want you to fill the whole inside of the Buick completely with firewood, door to door and floor to ceiling. And if you have any left over, I want you to stack it on the hood and roof. Do it carefully, of course. We couldn't do that, sir. We might get in trouble. How about if I pay you $10 each and you do it at night? We can do that, sir. But what if we get caught? For an extra $5 apiece, you will not get caught. Right, sir. And besides, I tell them, at 15, you're still juveniles. They won't give you the electric chair for misplacing a pile of firewood. Do it. I am tired of being patient and reasonable and fussing around with this minutia of life. Direct and swift action is my mode these days. A one-man SWAT team am I. Don't mess with me. My neighbor is lucky I didn't pile up the wood on his front porch and set it afire. After all, who would believe that a nice man like me would do such a thing? I've worked hard all these years on my disguise of being a benign gentleness, and at the time has come for the bad Samaritan to rip off his mask and strike. So the neighbor is away for the weekend. And I happen to know where he keeps his hide key in a really dumb place under the rear bumper of his Buick. I saw him put it there. I make sure his car is unlocked, and during the night I hear the lovely sound of firewood being moved by desperate 15-year-olds. The next morning I'm pleased to find the wood gone, and the Buick looks like a movable wood yard. Ha! Brilliant. I'm thinking my neighbor is going to have a cow when he gets home. Funny. Did this really happen? Yes and no. The young men did come to the door. The neighbor and the firewood are real, and the whole scenario did flash through my mind. The thing even went as far as the midnight moment, and there was a time in my life when I would have gone through with it. But now, well, I am, alas, older and wiser. Too bad. I stopped the young men, paid them, But I had considered that my neighbor is a cunning devil with a wicked sense of humor. He would have gotten even. He would have gotten even. Would he have? I'm sorry, he would have paid the young men to stack the firewood in my bathroom. Not so funny. Maybe I'm going through a desperate transitional phase like I did at 15, at the age of 15. I often have those loony ideas and come close to acting on them. But maybe, and however, the imagined memory must suffice sometimes. And if you only make it up, you never have to live it down. I thought that's pretty funny. How many? I've done that. I have had those American. Hi, Gail. Hi, Janet Nash. Good to see you. Uh, I have had many imaginary scenarios and long conversations with people that, I have issues with, but I would never say, but, you just kind of mentally, and sometimes, Lily hears that I talk to the cat, and, go through all those scenarios. And sometimes I feel better. Hi, Mary Lou. Let's see, Mary Lou's here, and Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you. Okay, Canadian to Canadian. Yeah, a boot. That's good. Yeah, my son was, the youngest son and two grandsons were in Toronto this week, over the past week. They went to the zoo and a Blue Jays game. They are huge Blue Jay fans. At least my son is. So that's where they were in Toronto. And they've gone. Now they're back into their New York. They had to get passports to go to Canada, and they were sweating it out. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Good to see all of you. So I'm sure many of you have had those conversations, and when I started reading that, I didn't read it all the way through. And I thought that's something that I doubt very much that this guy would have gone through with, but it was wishful thinking. Well, I got myself in a bit of a pickle this week. On Facebook, they've been advertising this meal service thing called Factor. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's on my Facebook. It's like every other thing is a Factor thing, and they show you these delicious meals. And I bit, and I signed up for it. And you get 50% off the first order, and you can order 6 meals a week, 8, 10. It keeps on going up, right? They used to offer 4, but now they're offering 6. So I signed up, ordered 6 meals at 50% off, and then you got 20% off for the next couple of weeks that you ordered. So the day came that they were to be delivered, which was June 27th was the delivery date. And I heard the front, my porch door open and close. The jerk, FedEx, mind you, delivered this food, right? It says perishable on it. Didn't even ring the doorbell. And that kind of pissed me off. But I knew it was there because I heard them arrive. And so there were 2 big boxes. And I'm going, I only ordered 6 meals. So I opened the boxes, and instead of 6 meals, they delivered, are you ready for this? They delivered 24 meals. 24 meals. I'm single. There's just me. And they had all been paid for. And so I had 24 dinners, heavily packaged with all sorts of insulation and freezer bags and really a lot of stuff to get rid of after the fact, which is not easy to do. And I called them, and it took forever, obviously, to get through to customer service. I think there was one guy, and his name was Louis, and he was working at home because I could hear a baby crying in the background. And Louis was very patient. I was really upset trying to keep it all together. And because I had paid for all of this. and there was no returning this, there was no turning back. So I ended up feeding the neighborhood. And I called one neighbor and I told her what my situation was. And she said, "Oh, I'm a vegetarian." And I didn't order any vegetarian meals, even though that was one of the options. But she took a bunch and gave them to other neighbors. So she's going down and not, giving people. No, I didn't get a refund, but I got 24 meals for the price of 6. So I think I got a pretty good deal. Because I can't return it. And it turns out, user error, I actually made the mistake. I somehow signed up for 2 accounts, and that's what happened. But I only paid for 6, so that's not bad. I paid for 6 meals, got 24, and I have 4 left. I've gotten rid of, and I've eaten a couple of them, and they're not that good. And actually, they're not good at all. I mean, and my standards may be a little bit higher. They say that all the ingredients are fresh, and they recommend that you not freeze them. And out of 24 meals, only 1 was seafood, which I was disappointed. Because I'd left it up to them. It's called Chef's Choice. So out of 24 meals, there was 1 shrimp dish. And by the time it was heated, they say claim 2 minutes in the microwave. And I have an older microwave, so I can blame it on my microwave. But by the time it was heated, the shrimp was like I'm like chewing on a chunk of rubber. And it was not very good. And the chicken dishes were okay. But anyway, I told Louis, cancel everything, please. And he said, "Well, would you just like to, put your subscription on hold?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm feeling rather overwhelmed right now, and I'd like you to cancel everything, both whatever I did wrong, just cancel it. Please don't deliver any more food." And he kind of laughed, and he said, "Okay, you're canceled out of everything." For poached, poached eggs. Oh, I've never done a poached egg in a microwave. I'd be afraid it would be a hard boiled egg. But that's my mess for this week. And then I had to break down the cardboard and the freezer bags with the dry ice, whatever that is. You have to dispose of that in a very complicated manner, but it's all done. And hi, Miriam. Good afternoon. Good evening. Yes. Saw you earlier this morning. So my plan is to, first I want to show you, I got my stickers from Dee Dee is doing, making stickers out of a lot of her drawings. And yeah, I know. That's what I'm doing. Exactly, Mary Lou. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm keeping an eye on it. And I ended up putting it on a debit card that I have. And I had an issue with the debit card, and Bank of America has suspended that debit account and is issuing me a new card. So even if they try to go to that account, it's gone. It's dead. It's been, stopped. It's been terminated by Bank of America. So, but yeah, I'm going to keep, so they can't really try to do that. But I know, I guess as you get, I shouldn't say as you get old, I should say as I get older, I guess. I don't know. I screwed up. So Dee Dee's not giving, but you contribute to her channel, and she's doing stickers, and these are from Inktober a couple of years ago, and I love Edgar Allan Poe, so I got Edgar Allan Poe a while ago, and this past week I got, this is one of my all-time favorites that she's done, is The Invisible Man. I just think this is hysterical. And she asked me whether I wanted her to trim it, but I'm not sure. I might just kind of go like so, trim it. But I love the Invisible Man. This is hysterical. Hi, Darla. Okay, but make sure that they will not transfer the charge to your. Okay. Okay. All righty. Thank you. I will. I will. Even though Bank of America made it very clear that I needed to go, and if I was using that card for like automatic payments, that I had to go and make that change. But I will keep an eye on it. Thank you. Isn't it? Is it your favorite $2? I mean, Dar. Yeah, it's just so whimsical. It's hysterical. And then she threw in. She threw in the. Is that the sloth? I can't remember which that is. But she threw that one in. These are, yeah, that is good to know. Yeah, the Invisible Man is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I remember watching her do that when the way, I mean, she just, Lemur, thank you, Becky. Yeah, so, and there's stickers, so I have to figure out where I want to stick them. So I got that this week. I also got my uppercase. This is a Canadian publication, and I've been subscribing to them for quite a while. I think my first issue was 35. And it's, really it's eye candy. It's one of those magazines that is just, you just go through it. And I was looking at these little dolls. I went, ooh, and there's a lot of patterns and beautiful colors. Last month's issue gave you the directions template to make these little boxes, which I did. Yes, hello to you, Darla. And they always have interesting articles and beautiful, again, eye candy. And a lot of these patterns are things that I would like, paint also and copy. And these, oh my gosh, look, this woman, she makes, I wanted to show this to you. She makes, where is it? Oh, look, those are little buttons, pops. Ooh, sewing. Oh, where is this? And their next, and I don't know whether you can, oh, this woman, she makes toys, Marley toys. And I was looking at these eyes, and I'm thinking, I don't know, that could be a choking hazard. But these are, she calls these interior toys. But they're hysterical. Look how cute those are. And that's what she does. She makes, I guess, it's somebody else, soft sculptures, but she's Dimensions of Whimsy. I thought this would be fun just to draw. I mean, it's just so colorful. But I love this. It's a beautiful publication. And I've been getting it for a couple of years now. And I think it comes out, it's like Somerset Studio. I think it's quarterly. Become Whimsy, uppercase. Again, it's a Canadian publication. And it's just, I'd love to try to do finger painting, and that's one of the prompts tonight is finger painting. And that's kind of fun. So, and this woman is just doing crayons. She just loves crayons. Playful process. Wild about crayons. So that's kind of fun too. So I got that this week. And then I got another offer from magazines. They won't leave me alone. This offer is ridiculous. Are you okay? So I can't have another magazine. I just can't. However, this is the offer, ladies. It's 3 magazines. It's Bizarre, and the offer is Bizarre. Bizarre, Elle, and Cosmopolitan. all three, right? Three for 2 years, $9.97. Is that not insane? $9.97. Crazy, right? For all three magazines. So I think it's crazy. And I should have thrown it out. It's still sitting on my table out in the kitchen. I'm kind of eyeing it. And these are all, I've told the ladies in here that I was not renewing any magazines. And now I'm right back to getting all the magazines. And what I need is, and Bazaar's a great one. And I just cut them up. I don't read the articles. I just, cut them up. That's all I'm looking for, is to cut them up. All right. The next thing I'd like to share with you, ladies, I know for all three, I'll never forget the Bazaar. Was it the Bazaar magazine with Jane Fonda? Oh my God, Mary Lou. Do you remember that issue? Oh, don't do it. Thank you, Janice. I don't need another 3 magazines. I gave in and I bought the Pantone cards, I call them Pantone. And I am collaging them. And I just wanted to show, and they're not complicated collages. I try to match the color on the card with pictures that over the years I have cut out of magazines. And I went through last week. If you were here last week, I was kind of going through my stash of cutout pictures, pulling out ones that were small enough that I figured I could use on the cards. Yeah, Jane Fonda. Yes, yeah, that was hysterical. Yeah, and they do pile up. So when I do the card, you'll see I try to have at least some of the color in the image that I have found. And these are like images out. Again, these are images that I have had for a while. Now the colors are kind of repetitive. Like sometimes I try to make them kind of a little bit whimsical. Her collar here is kind of matches that purple. And these are just magazine images. And I went through and hi, Colleen. Good to see you. And I started going through my postage stamps. And this kind of ruby color matches that a little bit. Let's see. But you can see they're pretty simple. I mean, and this, no, that matches this, and that's, look how well that stamp matches that. Peony, okay. And again, these are pictures that I've collected over the years. And I mean, a lot of people, let's see, I was going to snatch a bunch of house-shaped color cards from, oh, to wait. Oh, so they have their paint swatches in the shape of little houses? Oh, that would be awesome. I mean, this is an amazing match. And this fish painting, there's another fish that goes over here, and I cut it down. But this is, I mean, you can see these are very simple. I mean, I've seen some other beautiful collages that other people that have done that are much more complicated. But they're fun. You can see they're pretty simple. I try to add a little whimsy like this guy, but this pink matches that pink. And desert sand. I've just found a bunch of stamps. And here's some more of the other half of that watch. And I just love this one. Her red lips match this red and this little postage stamp. And then the girl with the pearl earring, her cheek matches this, and this kind of matches that. So this is what I've been working on. The biggest time-consuming thing is finding the pictures. I've got tons of pictures. The color cards are free at Lowe's. Wow. Thank you, Colleen. Yeah, this is a really good match. You can barely tell, but this is the cutout and this is the color. Whisper Pink. And this was Piquant. And this piece of jewelry in the brown, Rust. This bird, perfect match, right? I just threw this guy in. I think this probably is my favorite because this orangey matches this orangey. And I put the bag over her shoulder. The bag was cut out. I usually cut out bags and things like that. Piquant. And tangerine, that kind of. And these, I cut these all out. This was probably the most complicated fussy cutting I've ever done. This was on a calendar. And I did this at Colleen's stream a couple of weeks ago. They're doing the collages out of a collage book that has 50 projects. And one was to do the birds. And I started to cut out these birds for that. And then I kind of never finished it. So when I saw this, I said, oh my gosh, that's perfect. And the color is winter wheat. And this is this little guy here is out of one of those collage magazines. Oops, I don't know. Oh, and then I got a little abstract, but this yellow kind of matches that. And these are the first earlier ones that I did. I have the dog, but this kind of matches, this yellow kind of matches this yellow. This bird is out of one of the cut magazines where you cut out the pictures for the collage purposes. And almost. So this is threw a little golfer in there. And I like this one too. She's got a pitchfork. And Mona Lisa. She kind of matches. There's some yellows in here that kind of match the yellow of the card. And this one, the pink. And this was just some, patterns that was in a magazine. Yep. And let's see. Raw sienna, the roof and the horse. Yeah. And the ladies, said, go to one of the, that one book that you cut out and found it. Sure enough, found a tiger lily. And then I colored, this wasn't this color, but I colored that in because Deb Farrell said, well, why don't you just color it in? And I got the orange. So that came out really cool. Tiger lily. And the mounted police. And I found a Canada stamp. It's red. And then coral haze. So these are fun. So Greg, did he get a new job? I know he was looking. I need to go back and check. Let's see. Let me go back and see what I need to go sleep. Well, good luck tomorrow, Miriam. Good luck. I hope that they can figure out and get everything straight for you. They will. But it's very stressful. Well, thank you, Teresa. Yeah, they've been fun. And again, I'm not drawing because Raul, how are you? Raul, I made the avocado smoothie that you recommended. I don't know what stream you were in, but I had some avocados and Raul gave me a quick recipe for an avocado smoothie and I made it and it was delish. Yeah, I've got I do. I've maybe about half. I might just actually, they're postcards. And I might just start using them as postcards and mailing them out. And I don't know whether I maybe put a, varnish, do a varnish, a seal on the top. Joined 3 beaches today in Barcelona. Oh, wow. Good for you. Good for you. I would be tired too. That's fun. I've been to Barcelona once, and I had the Barcelona edition of Monopoly. They have a Barcelona edition and a Madrid edition of Monopoly. When I lived in Mallorca for a year, and we played Monopoly, so a lot Spanish Monopoly. Yeah, it's a great, and it's so simple. And I added a banana, half a banana to my avocado smoothie, and it was delish. So thank you for that recipe. I've enjoyed it. You know how quickly avocados, hi Chris, get ripe. And when they had 4 for $5, I bought 4. And I'm only one person, so I made a little guacamole. And then I did the smoothie. Yeah, this is time to be removed. And Aunt Beck gave me this idea, I guess at least 2 years ago. Get out a big stencil over all of this, and then cut it up, and then you can use it for whatever. So this is about ready. I've got, shows to watch, names of movies to watch. I don't know whether someone in here recommended a show called Jury Duty on Netflix. Total wacko crazy show, hysterical. I watched it. You have to have a little bit of a sick, but yeah. So this is what I wanted to do. There's a guy by the name of Mike Deakins. He's got a great channel. And he has a Facebook group that's called Mission Inspiration, and every month they do a prompt-based art challenge, and they've called it Mission Inspiration. And in the beginning, he's got like the countdown clock, like they used to have in Mission Impossible, the TV show, and then this will self-destruct in 30 seconds. And so they still have that little opening, and then they give you can print this out. See, White Locust, both seasons are great. Okay, all right, that's cool. Haven't played. Yeah, it is. It is much better. Even though my ex and I would have some really drag out, knockdown Monopoly games, but it's much more fun with more people. We used to actually have Monopoly marathons. It would be tag team. We'd play all night, because we were in college, you know what I mean? So that's what we did, So we'd play so long, and then someone would come in and relieve you, and they would have your money and properties. And I still think it's one of the, as a kid growing up, we never really played it, seriously, but there's a lot going on in Monopoly. It's a pretty elaborate game if you really get into it. So anyway, this is the plan. I'm going to do this. And I've got pretty much everything at hand. So, hi, Nettie. Good to see you. So the prompts for this are glue strips of newspaper or magazine, cover with a thin wash of color, add random stamping, make marks with your fingers, add color through a stencil, glue vocal image or images, add a poetry quote or phrase, create a border frame around the page. And these are the words that you can try to incorporate. These are hard. Flight, orange, trace, rise, and talk. I have something for flight. I'm going to use orange as my wash, and I have an idea for trace, but these other two, I don't think I'm going to get into the page. into the challenge. So this is mission inspiration for July. And then he does a mid-month one too. If you're not familiar with Mike Deakin, he is really delightful. And I've been following him for many years now. And he's over in England. I think he's in, I want to say the Leeds, in the Leeds area of England, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Hi, Christine. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, okay, you too, Dar? Yeah, many years. Hi, Eileen. How are things down in southern Florida? I'm sure hot, 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 hot. It's hot everywhere. Yes. I was thinking of you because I had, let's see, where is it? This is, I have a glue, you know, a book that I glue on. I use as I glue over. It's a magazine. And look, I turned the page and look what was there. The Boca Raton. Since 1926. So I immediately thought of you. Have you ever been? Oh, Barnsley? Oh, wow, Barbara. Oh, how cool. You actually met him. Gosh, just as lovely in real life. How exciting. Barnsley. Okay. All right. Yeah. How cool is that? Yay, Boca. This is travel magazine. Okay. I have some paper here. And so we'll just grab some strips and glue them down. And there's a plane. It just happened to be, this is just one of those local newspapers that, you know, that come that are free. And this is the Space Coast. And they always have these criminal dudes. And oh, look, we got a plane here. And I'm just going to get, oh, look at that. I'm going to make that plane as one of the, oh, that's lovely. Mouth of the rat. Oh, Boca, right. I know Boca means, I know Boca's mouth. And, oh, yeah. I wonder who came up with that name. That's kind of interesting. Do you know? I mean, was that maybe, I'm assuming the Spanish? There must have been a lot of rats when they landed in, when they came to Boca. I'm assuming it, well, it's Spanish, yeah. Yikes. Mouth of the rat, jeez. Holy mackerel. I've never been to Boca. Are you making it up? Are you making that up? Because you never know. Eileen can make up shit, you know. Because she's a northern soul, not a southern soul. And she can make up some stuff. Oh, okay. The inlet looks like, okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Where I lived in New York, I lived on Lake Chautauqua. And Chautauqua is an Indian that means tied in the middle. And the lake had like an upper lake and a lower lake. And if you looked at an aerial view, it kind of looked like a bag that had been tied in the middle. And that's where it became known. It was known by the Indians as Lake Chautauqua. Chautauqua. Chautauqua, I think. I lived there for a couple of years. So what else is new other than my debacle of 24 meals delivered, and I ordered 6, but I was only charged for 24. But I think you're right. I need to keep close look on my accounts. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Well, that's not too bad. I thought I'd get ink all over myself. Oh, look, there's a little seahorse. Let's grab him. This is kind of not that easy to tear. Let's get him. The other news for me personally is sad news for me. Nothing serious, but my best friends, who I talk about quite frequently, who live in Cape Canaveral, are moving. And initially they thought they thought about seriously, they thought about moving to Portugal because they both have EU citizenship, so they can go to Portugal because Portugal is part of the European Union. And but her oldest son basically said to her, "Mom, you can't move to Portugal. Come on." And he just bought a townhouse in Bradenton, Florida, which is on the West Coast, which like near Tampa area. So in order for me to visit them, it would be probably a three-hour drive. So good night, Barbara. Thanks for stopping by. Sleep well. And so a lot of, well, I didn't cry, but I got, choked up. I've known Mo since 2000. So we go back a few years. And they rent, and their landlord, yeah, I bet. Great seafood. And Portugal, I'll tell you, like in the travel magazine and a lot of magazines that I see, I mean, Portugal is it shows up a lot. And I guess it's, people are wonderful. I know it does suck. And so their son, Jim, who lives in Dallas, just bought a townhouse in Bradenton that he was just going to use to. He's got a son that's in like a sports prep school, and the son plays baseball. And he's got a lot of money, and he just bought this townhouse so he could go up when he wanted, and he could see Tyler play baseball, and he would stay in the townhouse when he was playing his baseball. And he just basically said to his mom, the townhouse is yours. You're not going to Portugal, basically. Her younger son is here and just bought a place in the same development or, compound that they were living in. But the landlady raised the rent and is not, well, no, it's going to sell it. And she's asking $403,000. I don't know where the 3 comes from, but and it needs a lot of work. They're like a block from the ocean. That's why it's so expensive. So that's, yeah, it'll be different. I always spent Christmas and Thanksgiving with them, but their son is going to want to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with them. And so that's going to be a little awkward with the 2-bedroom, but we'll see. All of this is not going to happen until April, and a lot can change between now and April. And honestly, I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think they've really seriously looked here in this area. I think that, they were kind of figuring, they kind of knew this was coming, but it happened, and I think they just jumped at the opportunity, which I don't blame them. But I'm hoping that when things settle down a little bit, they'll take some serious time and look at what's available here, because there's a lot of, oh my gosh, if living on the ocean is no longer in the picture, and when they're in Bradenton, they're not anywhere. Well, I guess they're on the Manatee, close to the Manatee River, but not on the ocean like they were here. If that's not a factor anymore, you know what I mean? Then there's a lot of new construction going on here where I am. Lots of townhouses. So I'm hoping that they will seriously look for something here. They're going to Ireland in a couple of weeks, and they're going to be in Ireland for about 6 weeks. That's where they're both from. So they're going to see family. So hopefully when they get back, they might take some time to look. So let's see. Codflation, I bet. It is. Change is hard. And I've been spoiled. And my kids, my son and daughter-in-law, when the holidays come around, they don't have to worry about mom being alone, because they always know that I would be at, Mo and Sean's. And that's not going to be the case. I'm trying to look at the positive side of this. And the positive side is it's not Portugal. I mean, I would love to go to Portugal, but obviously if they move to Portugal, I might be able to see them once a year. If they're just moving to the other coast, I can see them more than once a year. But change is hard. It is. You get set in your ways. Hi, Barbara Clark. Good to see you. I am starting the July mission inspiration, the Mike Deakin mission inspiration. And the first thing is to glue strips of newspapers and magazines down. And that's what I am doing. I'm trying to do. And I'm just chatting away. But I'm thinking this is going to force me to literally get off my ass and become more social. I'm not a very sociable person. I mean, because I don't mind being alone, but now maybe this will force me to reach out. I've got lovely neighbors. I've got lovely neighbors on either side of me who I fed the other day. So, and there's nothing to say. Why can't I invite, them here for Thanksgiving dinner? You know what I mean? There's things that I can do instead of sitting here and feeling sorry for myself. There are things that I can do and get off my ass and, reach out and see what happens. I mean, I live in a community where there's tons of things to do. Yes. And you can come visit me. Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. We had such fun. Nettie and Penny and I met. I don't even know where we met. I know it was halfway between where you were and where I live. I know we met at a Cracker Barrel. We had a wonderful time. We sat out on, after we had our lunch, we sat out on the Cracker Barrel porch and rocked the chairs. And do you sit there and feel sorry for yourself? No. I'm just, have to adjust to the fact that my best friends are moving to the other side of the state. But they were seriously thinking of moving to Portugal. So this is much better than Portugal. And again, a lot can happen between now and April. Because that's when they have to. And my oldest son said to me, would you consider moving to where they're moving? And I thought about it, but that seems a little bit extreme. I want them to move here. There's a house for sale right down, 3 houses down from where I am for sale. Reasonable. But I don't think they want to own a home. And I don't have no idea what their financial situation is. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a clue. I think about, when you rent, you don't have to pay property taxes and you don't have to pay homeowner insurance and all of those things all those fun things that happen when you're a homeowner. So there's something to be said for that. I didn't think so. It's hard to lose friends. Yeah, I know. It's just different. Bye, Chris. Have a good evening and a good week. I'm sure I'll see you out and about. Yeah, it's change. It's a big change. And again, I feel sorry. Yeah, you pay them through the rent. Yeah, I understand that, the rent. And I think this is what's happened where they live. The HOA, I think that's what it's called. The HOA has gone up quite a lot, and that has cut into the landlord's profit margin. So the landlord has just decided, the hell with it. She's just going to sell. Well, yeah, you should. I'm sure they have renters insurance. I would imagine they do. Yeah, I would be surprised if they didn't. But I just, renewed my homeowners, and in order to keep my homeowners insurance down to a reasonable amount, I have a $6,000 deductible. So the first $6,000 is on me, and I don't know what that would look like. I'm assuming for me that would look like maybe the porch being blown away. Oh, I know, you're right. Our property taxes are ridiculously low. Yeah, you own. You're in a much higher rent district than I am, and you own. Yeah, no, our taxes are ridiculously low. You're right. And there's no state income tax. And that's another thing that makes Florida very attractive. There's no state income tax. Yeah. I think my property taxes are, let's say, about $900. And that includes the garbage, sewer, and that kind of. And then they have something here in Florida called the Homestead Act, or the Homestead. And you get, as an older person, you get I think, I've got a $50,000, two $25,000 deductions. So with your house is appraised at, they subtract that for the appraisal for the purposes of taxes. Yeah. Well, in Florida, all they need is, a year of a couple of hurricanes, and it just goes sky high. And my fear is that a lot of these insurance companies are saying, okay, they're not going to write any more homeowners insurance. And I don't think that they should be allowed to pick and choose. If they're not going to write homeowner insurance policies, then they shouldn't be able to write car insurance policies. You either have to, I'm with USAA, which is military insurance. You have to have some connection to the military. And a couple of years ago, USAA started dropping homeowners. And they said that they wouldn't write any more policies unless you were transferred, active military, being transferred to Florida. So I have my car insurance with them and my homeowners with them. Yeah, they can. And I just don't, I think they you write, you cover everything, or you don't have that privilege to cover. Well, I bundle. I guess that's what they call it. I bundle with USAA. So I have my car insurance and homeowners with them. They're a wonderful company. I've been with them ever since I've been driving. It's the only insurance company I've ever been with. I don't think I've ever been with any other policy with them. And they were so good when my mom decided that she wasn't going to drive anymore. They even helped me sell her car. They said, we have our own used car. We have our own used car network, because we've got a lot of military that are moving in and out of areas. So we have a whole website where we help, where we sell cars to, military. All I had to do was I took some pictures of my mom's car and they posted it, and it was sold within a couple of days. It was gone. I know. That's a hard choice, Nettie. I agree with you. They're all a bunch. I've just read an article in the AARP magazine about this group that literally built Medicare out of $80 million. They had a scam going. $80 million. See, those bastards should spend the rest of their life in prison. That's just, All right, so I've done that. Now cover with a thin wash of color with a U. What did I say? I was going to do that with orange, because that would take care of the orange. Let me check this off. Check. All right, a thin wash. So that means paint with a lot of water. Oh, I know. That just, yeah. That, and I guess 80 million, there was a student that went to the school that I taught at, and her dad built Medicare out of $300 million. I mean, how low can you go? And that's why they you see those ads all the time about being really careful, about your Medicare, your Medicare cards and all of that information, because there are people just waiting to rip you off. But that's kind of the lowest I think you can go. All right, I'm gonna spritz some water in my little thing to make a wash of sorts. Whoops. It's not going to be a little bit not washy enough, I don't think. Oh, thank you, Janet. That's so sweet of you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that's going to be, yeah, that's not. I don't want that. I want it more washy. Oh, well, here goes. Let's see, can I do this? Yeah, that helps a little bit. I didn't want it that dark orange, but oh well, it is what it is, right? I'm in a mixed media book. This is not watercolor paper. Oh boy. It's okay. It's okay. See, that's more of the orange I wanted, not this. I wonder, can I wipe that away? Let's see. Let's see. Can I? Let's see. He robbed people on Medicare, or he stole from Medicare itself. He stole from Medicare himself, double billing and such. And they got caught. It was a chiropractor business. And they had a doctor who gave there was some sort of injection in people's neck to alleviate neck pain. And this guy there were several of their patients that had bad reactions to this. But did this guy stop doing that? No. And what happened is he ended up killing a woman. And then because of that happening, that all of a sudden there was an investigation, and the investigation went deeper and deeper and revealed the fact that they had been ripping off Medicare. And it was the two brothers and a sister, and there was somebody else. And of course, the doctor. And of course, the family of the woman that died, there was a civil law, and they thought that he really should have been charged with manslaughter. But it's if you get AARP, if you're a member of AARP, it's in this month's magazine, and it's just obviously horrible. Well, that's not too bad. It's more orangey than I wanted, but hey, it's okay. I was just about to type "spritz it" when you picked up the water bottle. Yeah, I could. I have, and actually one of the things is stencil instead of, I was going to add another color, but that's a brilliant idea. Thank you, Barbara. I will do that. I will try to pull away with the stencil. All right, so cover with a thin wash of color. I did, and that color was orange. And I kind of have flight down here because I've got an airplane and pilot. So I'm going to check off flight, kind of, and add random stamping. That's always fun. And I have a plain stamp. So I might just throw a couple of those, but the other stamp I was going to use is the indigo, the honeycomb stamp. And I never use this stuff. I've got so much stuff I never use. So that's a good thing about these. Well, when anybody's doing prompts, you get to pull stuff out that you don't normally use. And that's the good thing. There was another thing I was going to do today. Not this. So there's so much good stuff out there. Her name is, it's at 7 Plaza. She did a really neat thing. She called them ink box cards. And I might do those next week. Where she makes, the Tim Holtz ink boxes. She makes cards. She traces those and uses that square size to make and then decorate the cards. with all sorts of ephemera. And I have lots of ephemera because of my Temu order. I have been so good. I have not been back to Temu. I have not. I have stayed away from Temu. I had that one order. Hey, Brooke. Good to see you. How are things up in Maine? I hope cool-ish. You know, my sister and brother-in-law lived in Maine for Seven Plaza. Yes, thank you. Lived in Maine for many years. Used to love going to visit them, especially in August. I guess I'll put why not? I should put a plane in here, right? Since I have a plane stamp. Not a plane stamp, but a stamp of a plane. A Tuesday morning special. No, this ink pad is dry. They really dry out. I just filled this one. I just re-inked it. Nah, it's not worth it. Not happening. So I got the plane anyway, so it's cool. It's all good. All right. Throw that over here. Throw that over here. Have to re-ink that. All righty. So we got that. So we random stamped. Okay. Now, add marks with your fingers. Yeah, she is fun to watch. Yep, I agree. And I just recently discovered her. And she is fun to watch. All right, so finger thingies. Now, I have this book that I got ages ago. And this woman has several other books. And I said, oh, look, let's make some great fingerprint art. So it says make marks with your fingers. And this has got some funny stuff in here. So these are from Mike Deakin's Mission Inspiration. He's got a Facebook page. It's a private group, so you answer a question. And then they do one every month, actually two, and they call it Mission Inspiration instead of Mission Impossible. And he's been doing it for years. Really great crafter. So I know this book is hysterical. It's really funny. And they've got all sorts of fingerprint art in here. And they got the bird totem poles. They got the, the bumblebee, pattern making, dogs. It's kind of cool. So I thought I would do a bird, which there was in the back, your hand. That would be fun. But this, oh, look, and they have, isn't this Sisyphus? The guy that pulls the rock up the hill? Sisyphus. Oh, look, they have a turtle with your thumb. I could do the turtle. Let's see. I like this little bird, though. This little bird's cute. That's a thumb and a thumb. I could do that. So the hard thing is the white part. That's not really practical. Well, I guess you could use pasta. So, all righty. So I'm going to try that. And let's see whether that's going to show up. And I tried this earlier. I'm just using this as the ink. And it's washable. See? It says you right there. Hands, clothing, and walls. I don't think I'm going to do any finger marking on my walls, but I'm going to try. Thank you, Janet. Sisyphus. Yes, Sisyphus. Yes. Yeah. It looks good to me. The spelling looks good to me. I can't spell. I cannot spell worth a damn. And all I can say is when spell check became a thing, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. Honestly. Oh, yeah, you can see that. All right. And we'll do this. And the other one I use quite frequently is Grammarly. I highly recommend Grammarly, especially if you are, typing, even if it's a short letter or a note. Let's see. Let's do 3. You have to do 3, right, Barbara Clark? You have to do 3. It's the law. You can't do 2. You have to do 3 or 5 or 7. Yes, it does sound like a disease. Yes. All righty. So now I am covered in. It does sound like a disease. Sisyphus. Okay. Where's my pen? I guess I can. Let's do this. We got a beak, and we got some legs, and we got some tails. You got some legs, and a beak. And we'll do the third one up here. And a beak. And let me see if the white Posca won't. Oh, I know. Maybe. Well, we'll try the white Posca. Not a pleasant one. Yes. Yeah, it's the law. Yes, it's the law. It started in California. If you didn't know that, it's a California law. Just so you know. And Barbara is the official enforcer of the law. Just so you know, this is all. Is that wet? It feels wet. All right. Let's see whether this is going to. Oh, wow. It kind of worked. I mean, this is really wet. When I put my arm down on it, you can kind of see the little eyes. Eye. I was going to say I could make the beak orange, but it already is orange. But I could make it more orangey. Orange, yellowish, orangey, yellow. Maybe a yellow beak. Let's see. Yeah, well, it comes out a little bit. I don't think this is what they had in mind when they had that as a prompt, but it's okay. I like it. And maybe we can try one of this. One of these. Let's see. Oh, see, will that work? No, it's kind of wet. It's not picking it up, but that's okay. It's an eye. An eye for an eye for an eye. Little dot. Okay, so that takes care of that. And this should wash off my fingers. Whoops. These are pretty handy, these washable. I've done some printing with those. All righty, let's see. Stick those away. All right, so that takes care of that. Don't need that. Stick that away. And we have completed make marks with your fingers. Color through a stencil. All right, now Barbara is suggesting that. Now, I don't know that this is so dry. I don't know whether I would be able to remove this. Thank you, Brooke. I should probably make 2 more. You know, can't have 4. It's got to be 5. See, I don't know whether that's going to work. What would I do? I would use a baby wipe and try to pull that out. I mean, I got lots of baby wipes. I can try, right? Oh, with the cat on a leash. She's fallen asleep underneath one of the tall grass. Aw. Aw. Well, that's what happened to Alice, you know. Alice was out in the woods and was with her sister, and she fell asleep. And you know what kind of dream she had? Yeah, I think it was kind of like a drug-induced dream. Yeah. All right, let's see whether, I don't know whether this is going to work, but we can try. No, it's not going to work. Because it's just not going to work because it's dry. That's okay. I had a color already picked out, so I'm good. And I'm going to use blue because blue and orange are complementary. They're on the opposite sides of the color wheel. I'm starting to learn this stuff. It's taken forever. It doesn't sink in. I get so frustrated that why I can't remember this stuff. I mean, I can remember other stuff, but I can't seem to remember the most basic. And this is stuff that I really enjoy, but it's just not sticking. Now, I don't know whether it would have stuck when I was younger, but it ain't sticking now. My brain is not as elastic as it used to be. Okay. You haven't seen anything that says drink me. Okay. Beware of anything that says drink me. No, I have several color wheels. Yes, I do, Janice. I do. Thank you very much. And I use it. It's like my best friend. It is. I've got several of them. I don't know. I think I'd rather do some of these. Okay, Janet, good night. Thank you so much for stopping by. See you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Freddie and Janet. I'm assuming you're home now, I think, right? I think you're home. I love your St. Ives stuff. That was so cool. Look what I got. I got the artiste. I didn't get the student grade. I got the next number 2, the artist level. Not number, they have the student grade, and they had a sale at Michael's. You buy one, you get the second one half off. And I thought I would buy, this is only me, like backwards, upside down. I figured I would go buy the 3 primary colors and black and white. And I came home and I was showing the gals in the chat room, look, I got them. And someone very politely said, green is not a primary color. Red is. So I bought blue, yellow, green, black and white, when it should have been blue, yellow, red, and black and white. Only, I tell you, that's just so me. So me. I went food shopping the other day, right? And I went food shopping last week also, and I needed toilet paper. Not desperately needing toilet paper, but I needed toilet paper. And I got home and I had not gotten toilet paper. So I was a little upset with myself. But I wasn't out, so it wasn't time to get the backing off the napkins out, like, and went food shopping yesterday. In the checkout line, I looked at the guy in front of me. Good night, Mary Lou. And I looked at the guy in front of me, and he had toilet paper. I went, holy shit, I forgot the toilet paper again. If it hadn't been for that guy, I would have gotten home and not had the toilet paper. How annoying. I mean, really. You make a list and then you leave the list at home. Or I make a list and don't bother looking at it. How bad is that? All right, Ambex. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I make a list. If I remember to bring it, I stick it in my pocket and then I don't look at it. There were a couple of things I forgot, but nothing critical. I think probably the best thing to do is just have the damn groceries delivered. All right, that's not, I like the blue. Yeah. Yeah, this looks good. A little bit over here. All right, there, good enough. Oh, that's a pretty blue. That is, what is that? It is phthalo blue. Or blue phthalo. Because that would be, do they put the adjective in front in French, or is that only in Spanish does the adjective go in front of the noun? Because there's phthalo blue or blue phthalo. Okay. That's good. We're getting there, folks. We're getting there. All right. Okay. Vocal. Not vocal, but vocal. I always say that wrong. Now I have a vocal image. And I'm going to cut this out. And that's going to be the vocal. Hi, Deb. Phthalo. Oh, it's not philo? Oh. Okay, thank you. Phthalo. So the pH doesn't have an, okay. Here I'm thinking it's the pH. Phthalo. Okay, phthalo. How low can you go? Phthalo. You go. Okay. Learn something new all the time. I mean, in Colleen and Kathy Berg's streams on Tuesday, we always learn interesting stuff. The conversations are always hysterically funny. And how we all have interesting knowledge to bring to the table, so to speak. Phthalo. Huh. And the rabbit holes. Oh my gosh. There's some serious rabbit trails, rabbit holes. Do. I'm getting there, folks. I'm leaving just a little thing of color. I have I installed what they call a mini split air conditioning unit out on my porch, which is not meant to be a year-round room, and I want to make it a year-round room. And man, that is cranking. I'm having them come and do a service call on it. I haven't had anybody. I had it installed 3 years ago. I guess they use those mini splits a lot in Europe because they don't require ductwork. But that thing is just cranking. It sounds like a jet engine, so I know something's not. But when it's 90 plus out, and it's it's what they consider like a Florida room, but it's not, not well insulated. So. And I guess I should start maybe. Seems like it hasn't been long enough, but I was telling a while ago that I had what they call a soft-shell turtle come up out of the pond. And those are cute. I could use those on the Pantone cards. It's a really ugly turtle. It's not like your really cute turtle. It's just a butt ugly turtle. It's got a long kind of snout that's pointy at the end, and it's got like this soft shell skirt around the back of the shell. It's just not a very attractive turtle. And she came up out of the pond, and she started looking for a place to, she was digging a hole, an indentation, and the soil here is kind of sandy. And but ugly. Yeah, poor thing. Somebody apparently loves her because she laid. I think she laid eggs. She started digging an indentation, and she had her rear legs going and her front legs going, and sand was flying everywhere. It was all on the back of her shell. And she kind of routed around, and then she came back to that same spot. And the next thing I know, I had left, gone to do something, and I came back, and that area where she had been was perfectly like raked over. It's like someone went out and smoothed out that whole area where she was, which leads me to believe that she laid her eggs and she covered it up very neatly. And then a couple of days later, they came and they put tan bark down, which would insulate that nest even better. And a couple of years ago, a turtle came up and laid some eggs next door in my neighbor's yard. And unfortunately, there was a whole bunch of crows watching her. And by the time the poor thing got to the pond, the crows had gotten all the eggs, had eaten all the eggs. But there were no birds around when she laid these eggs. But the gestation is, a couple of weeks, more than that, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So sometime the end of this month, if there are eggs there, they could start coming up, and making their way to the pond. So shot a little video out here in the yard. I'll post it. Oh, good. Thank you. Sounds great. Well, I don't know. May have cooked them. Hope not. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, because it's right in it, and there's no shade. There's no shade. And the sprinkler system doesn't really get that area are wet. So I don't know. And they lay 25 to 30 eggs. And the sea turtles lay that many because their survival rate, if they can make it to the ocean, then seagulls will come down and get them. And that's so. I thought I would put this here. It's okay. That way we can see the birdies. What do you think? And then maybe I will do something. Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to do it here. Okay. That is what it is. Yeah, I hope they make it too. It'll be interesting. Oh, Colleen, if you could have seen you would have. I was telling the people earlier that during one of our horrific, severe thunderstorms, there was a sandhill crane family, mom, dad, and two chicks. And the dad was over my neighbor's bushes, and the mom literally was lying down under the palm tree, and the two chicks were underneath her feathers. And at one point, one chick popped its little head up during the storm and then went back underneath her feathers. And I thought there was only one baby chick. And when the storm was over and Mama finally stood up, there were two chicks hunkered underneath her feathers during the duration of the storm. And it was a wicked storm with, probably 40-mile-an-hour gusts. And the mom was kind of buffering her, even though she was lying down. And very rarely do you see the sandhill cranes lie down. But the two babies were underneath her feathers. And then when the storm was over, she stood up, and there they were. And then the mom and dad came over and stood right in front of my window. I have a picture of that. It's hard to get a clear picture because the screening on the porch kind of makes it blurry. And they were drenched. Both mom and dad were sopping wet. And then they went walking off with the two little chicks in tow. The sandhill crane chicks are so damn cute. They are just, and they grow so fast. Oh my gosh. I hadn't seen any this year until the other day during the storm. Yeah. Because we have the ducks too. And we have Egyptian geese, which are very interesting. And they're called Egyptian geese because they have like blue feathers or markings around their eyes, like the Egyptians would use that blue makeup around their eyes. And that's what these Egyptian geese look like. They're not indigenous to this area. And there was a injured one. And, they mate for life. So I'm assuming it was the female that was injured. I could be wrong. But the other one would not, the one that was injured was limping very badly. And its mate was right with it. And so I called the wild animal bird refuge here in Florida, right? And and I took a picture of it because I didn't know what it was called at that time, and messaged it to the gal. And of course, it was a Sunday afternoon, but there was somebody manning the phones. And she said, "Oh, that's an Egyptian goose, and we can't. They're not indigenous to Florida, so we can't help you. We only take care of animals, birds that are indigenous to Florida." So the next thing I know, the poor thing is lying down in the middle of the road, and its mate's right next to it, but it's sitting in the middle of the roads. So I called the front gate. We have a guard at the front gate, and I called them, and they said, well, they would send someone down to make sure that it wasn't going to get hit, but I don't know whether they ever showed up. At least so she probably got, I wouldn't be surprised if poor bird didn't get hit by a golf ball, Got crazy golfers here. Well, it's coming along. It's okay. I'm glad I left that little bit of white around it. And the orange kind of, so it's coming along. Okay. So that's that. Now, my newest favorite phrase, quote is, art is the absence of fear. Yeah, they crap all over the place. That's true. But geese in general crap all over the place. They're just messy birds, whether it's an Egyptian or not, right? So it says here, it says trace. So this is what I'm going to do. I have some time. I'm going to write out my phrase. That is, art is the absence of fear. I'm going to write it out, and then I'm going to trace it, and then I'm going to glue the tracing down on this. We have thousands of big birds make big messes. Yeah. The sandhill cranes, oh my gosh. They don't really fly. I mean, they do fly, but they fly short distances. And there's two sandhill cranes out here. I'm assuming that they're two males because they go at it every afternoon. They're jumping up and down and dancing, and a little territorial thing is going on. Canadian geese here. Yeah, actually Aleutian. Oh, from the Aleutian Islands? Okay. And I guess the sandhill cranes, they migrate. The sandhill cranes that are here in this community they're not migrating. They live here year round. But there used to be a lot more of them than there are now, unless they've moved to another area. There's 750 homes in this community that I live in, and I'm thinking maybe they've moved to another area. Because there used to be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, up at the intersection, there would be at least 6 pair of them. Oh, it just got to be margarita time. How lovely. Who's having a margarita? This is my sacrifice. I don't drink until I'm done. And this is way past cocktail time. Yep. My sacrifice for you guys. I really wanted to start a channel, and it was going to be called, since there's the Drunken History channel where they drink and they start discussing history, and they continue drinking and they continue discussing history, and it's called the Drunken History channel. My students told me about it, of course. They asked me whether I knew about it. So I thought there could be a crocked crafting hour or something like that. Yes, which I thought would be kind of funny. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I know this seems rather redundant, but it is. And it can be. And I can trace this, and then I'll be able to use one of those words. And it's a short quote. Art is, and this quote, this phrase is from a artist, a musician, singer. I can't remember her name, but if you type in art is the absence of fear, she pops right up. Bye, Brooke. Thank you so much for being here. Love Drunk History on the comedy. Yeah. See, Janice, you know all this stuff too. Art is. My students, of course, told me about it. Well, it's because I told my students that they were the reason why I drank, and they thought I was kidding. I said, I'm not kidding. They thought that was very funny. Oh, boy, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? I'm fearless. Art is the absence. I am fearless. absence shit. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, that's right. Is that right? Oh, God. Yes. I got scared. I thought I had left a letter out, which would not be unusual. Again, ass backwards and upside down. That's me. Art is the absence, right? That absence of fear. Can you hear the sound that the marker makes? I like that sound. There. Ta-da! Now, I'm going to trace it. And you're going to say, oh my God, we're going to watch you trace this. No, you don't have to. And I'm going to trace it with, this is a General's Layout black, extra black pencil. Okay, here we go. I thought about doing it with a Stabilo, but if when I glue it down, it would be wet, and you know the Stabilo would move because it's wet. So this is, and this one shouldn't, what time is it? Oh, we're good. It's all good. And I'm just so happy that all of you came by today. I hope this wasn't too boring, but I had fun doing this. I mean, if you go to that website, if you go to his Facebook page, you can go back and get these going. You know, I've got, you know, some that go back to 2018. I mean, you'd be all set. He used to have some other artists come in and do them, but recently he's been doing them all. Because the first time I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, how funny, because he had the countdown and then it would explode just like they used to do. I used to love that show, Mission Impossible. Because they got carried away with all of the movies, you know, but I watched, and I don't know, somebody, maybe it was on Rosemary's channel, somebody talked about a show on Netflix called Jury Duty. It is out there, I'll tell you. Weirdly very funny. So I don't want anybody. Okay. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, if I glue that down, you're going to be able to see it? Probably not. Let me color this in really quick. All right. Let's see. What? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Ooh, when I glue that down. Did you want, oh, that's her. Thank you, Barbara. Ika Badu? Yes, I think it's Ika. Yes. Did you watch Jury Duty? Is that what you're saying, Colleen? I'm curious, what did you think of it? It's pronounced Erica? Okay. Well, what did you think? Interesting. I was just going to ask you that. I figured Tom would like it better than you did. I thought it was hysterical when he kept on having to wake that woman up, and the judge kept on looking at him like it's your responsibility. I don't, maybe I don't want to say too much about it just in case someone in here wants to venture a look at it. What I'm watching now is it's on Prime, but it's on MGM Plus, which is a subscription on top of Prime, and it's Rogue Heroes. Safia recommended the book for me to read, and I'm listening to the book, and I'm loving and I said, gee, this should be a series. And she said, yep, they made a series of it a couple of years ago. So I'm watching that, Rogue Heroes. It's pretty good. And what are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. And it's about a secret, covert British and French group of paratroopers, soldiers that are operating behind enemy lines, and they're blowing up German and Italian planes in the deserts of North Africa. And some of their adventures are just unbelievable. And it's a true story. It's nonfiction, which makes it even more fascinating. And the guy that wrote the book, his last name is McIntyre. He's reading it. I'm listening to it, so he's actually reading the book. All right. I don't know. Does she have time? Well, we're good. Well, yeah, we're good. They won't call you over after you're 75. I think you're good to go, unless you want to. I've been called. Oh, I'm not going to rush. I've been called several times, but actually only chosen once. And it was a horrible experience. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's different. I don't know else. I mean, it is really kind of out there. And it is kind of a little warped. But the one the jury, the one that I was, was it 77? I thought it was 75. Okay. Yeah, the one that and it was just before school started. It was literally 3 days before school started. And it just, oh my God, it upset me so much. And then I had to start teaching, and I just felt so bad. And I'll tell you what, well, I don't know how many of you have served on a jury, but there's so much information that the jurors are not entitled to, that it's so hard to make a decision when, you're not entitled to knowing certain stuff. And I know there's reasons for that. I don't know, can you see that or not? I don't know. Well, and we found it. And when the verdict was rendered, when it was all said and done, the judge comes into the jury room and he starts yelling and cursing. And we're all sitting there like, And he said, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the goddamn, prosecutor. They just wanted an easy one. And this thing should have never come to trial. And this is just not fair. And he was like livid. Yeah, I think I'm going to use a marker. Yeah. I can go back and I'll go back and do that. That's a good idea. And that's not going to work. I need a brush. Let's see. I mean, not a brush. Yeah, I know. Popo's doing that. And there's the one with the Border Patrol guy that murdered his girlfriend and baby. I guess that's the one that Susan's been watching. I've never watched any of those. I'll have to try that out. Yeah, let's see. I think this might be a disaster, folks. A disaster. Oh, actually. Whoops. Come here. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Come on. Stick. I'm wearing the is. And, oh, Lordy. What a friggin' mess. Oh, dear. Well, it is. Let's see. Well, it's not too bad. Oh, okay. Johnny Depp. Well, did you remember the one down here in Florida? The Casey, was it Casey? Where she was accused of murdering her baby. Oh, it was Casey, right? Casey something, Eileen. And that got me hooked. And OJ, the OJ trial, they actually announced on the intercom system at school where I was teaching that he had Casey Anthony. Yes. Oh, that was a doozy, wasn't? That was. That was amazing too. The Casey Anderson one. I think she killed the kid. I really do. Absence, right? Art is the, whoops. Oh, well. Art is the absence. I almost screwed it up. It's okay. Go right across the, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, it actually came across the PA system at school that he had been acquitted because the gloves didn't fit. Wasn't that it or something? All right. Whew. Look at that. It's okay. It's okay. It was fun. And I might go, when this dries, I might go in, but I like the way it looks on the tissue paper because, when you use tissue paper, that's right, it kind of blends into the background. But I'm going to leave it alone. And let's see, where's the thingy? Oh, create a border. I'm just going to take a squiggly thing and a magic marker and just squiggle around here. And that'll be my border. That's the best I can do. Yeah, I'm just going to doodle one. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do one of these thingies. You go like so, and then zigga zigga. I have a really neat stamp I could have used, but I'm just going to do one of these, zigga zigga. Zigga zigga. Zigga 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 zigga. Zoop. 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 And you're going to make the sound effects. Zoop. Zoop. Those are border making. Zoop. Zoop, zoop, zoop. There. Ta-da! Woo! Adios, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. It's been so much fun spending the afternoon with you. And I will see you out and about the internets for sure. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for writing down the prompts. Adios, amigos.